If your drone shots look boring, even when the location is amazing, there's a good chance the problem isn't your drone, it's the way you're actually framing your shot. Because most beginners are taught the same thing. Follow the rule of thirds, put the horizon on a third, put the subject on a third, keep everything nice and balanced. And don't get me wrong, the result is good. It makes your footage look nice and neat. And that's because it's an age-old photography technique that just works. And I absolutely recommend using the rule of thirds whenever you can. But the problem is it doesn't always feel cinematic. So in this video, I want to show you a different way to frame your drone shots, a way that creates more scale, more movement, more tension, and way more interest. And the best part is this is beginner friendly. You do not need to be a pro pilot, and this will work with any drone you have already in your hands. And the bonus here as well is it works for photos and video too. G'day friends, if you don't know me, my name is Brett and I've been a professional photographer for 10 years and I use drones every day in my business. And until recently, I've been making this mistake myself for years. I used to line up everything nicely, keep the frame clean, keep the subject sitting politely on a third, and I thought that meant I was doing it right, and for the most part, I was. And when I look back at some of my footage, it looks correct, but it doesn't look overly exciting. And that's when I started to frame for motion instead of balance. My shots instantly started to feel bigger, more cinematic, and way less like generic drone shots that you see all the time. So that's what I want to show you today. The system I want to give you is called the Edge Framing System. And if you remember nothing else from this video, remember this: great drone framing is not about where the subject sits, it's about where the eye travels. And that's the big difference. It's not about the placement of your object, but more about visual movement. So let's go through the Edge system step by step. The first thing I want you to do is try pushing your subject much closer to the edge of frame that feels comfortable. And I mean way closer, not 1/3, not a little bit off center. I'm talking about the outer 10% of the frame. Now, if you're a beginner, that feels wrong straight away because everything you've been taught says, no, center it a bit more, balance it out. But here's what happens when you push the subject right to the edge. The environment suddenly feels much bigger. Like in this shot of a pier called Long Jetty in Port Welshpool that I visited recently, the shots start on the pier in the very middle of the composition. And that's great, it's a perfect leading lines type shot. But what happens when you move from that position to push the pier to the edge of frame? It reveals so much more of the environment and you can just keep going and going and going. So in that shot, instead of using the pier to fill most of the frame, you use the negative space that isn't the pier to show the scale of the pier and where it sits in the real world. If your subject is a person, a car or a boat, a house or even a tree, placing it way off to one side can make everything around it feel massive. And that's what you want, because cinematic drone footage is very often not about the subject itself, it's about the relationship between the subject and the space around it. So the next time you're flying, try this. Take the exact same shot twice. First shot, frame it with the classic rule of thirds, then do it again, but shove the subject almost to the edge of frame. When you compare those shots later, the second one will usually feel more dramatic, more modern, and much more interesting. And of course, if your drone shoots high resolution videos or photos, you've got even more freedom here because you can reframe it slightly in post if you need to. This is where we leave basic composition behind and start making the frame feel more alive. Most beginners frame a drone shot like this: subject here, horizon there, everything contained neatly inside the frame. But motion doesn't work like that. Motion has direction. So instead of asking, where should I place my subject? I want you to ask, where is this shot traveling? And this is what I call the path to edge technique. The goal here is to frame the shot so that the viewer's eye naturally follows that direction of travel. And that creates a lot of energy. So let's say your drone is moving forward out over the ocean and there is land in the distance, like in this shot. It's a nice shot by itself and the land is perfectly framed on the upper third line for a standard rule of thirds shot. This shot tells you to look forward. But what if instead of composing the frame like a still photograph, you brought in the pier to draw our vision to the middle of the shot, specifically the mountain in the distance, because the pier is pointing directly to it. So instead of a beautiful shot of an ocean with the mountain in the distance, you now have a shot that feels like it's taking you there specifically. And the reason for this is because diagonals are gold. Diagonals create movement through the frame. They guide the eye, they make the shot feel less boxed in. So instead of a flat, balanced horizon line cutting across the frame, you now have shapes and lines that pull the viewer through the shot. Also, if you're just starting out on your drone journey, grab my free ebook, 49 Drone Tips for Beginners. It's got heaps of information and tips to help you out. I'll link it in the description and below as always. This next part is massive for drone pilots because when you get higher up, the mistake most people make is they keep trying to identify things. Like they try and identify the road, there's a tree, there's a building, there's a car. But from above, that's not the best way to see the scene because you're seeing the whole scene. You can't pinpoint specific things. Instead, start treating the ground like an abstract design. So what I want you to think about are 6 things. Number 1, the texture in the scene. And what I mean by that is smooth elements like a road and rough elements like rocks. Number 2 is contrast of the scene, like elements in the scene that are opposite in color and light. Number 3, any patterns you can see that follows a path. 4, color differences that make the scene more interesting. 5, light and shadow. And 6, and also look for leading lines, lines that make your eye follow. This is where drone framing becomes really fun because you're now no longer just filming a place, you're designing the frame. So maybe some of the subjects are tiny, like the cars in this scene I filmed on the Great Ocean Road in Victoria, Australia. Maybe the beach isn't just a beach anymore. It's bands of colour which has bluish water contrasted by the brown rocks and the green grass. And the shadows are long enough to provide detail of the rocks as well, as this was filmed about 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And the great thing about this shot is the main subject is really the brown rocky coast in the middle that goes from corner to corner of the frame. The road and the cars on the road are leading you to look towards the middle, and even the waves are moving towards the middle as well. And that's the real power of a high altitude perspective. And once you understand that, the rule of thirds starts to matter a lot less than some of these shots. Because now a subject doesn't have to sit nicely in a perfect frame, it just has to work with the canvas that you're building. And this is also where negative space becomes your best friend. You as a beginner might feel like you need to fill the frame with everything, but you don't always. Empty space is not wasted space. In this photograph that I took with my drone at Walkerville in Victoria, the ocean is the negative space, but it blends perfectly with the rest of the canvas because the boat is a focal point and it draws your eye right to it. So the negative space is pushing your eye towards the boat in the middle. And empty space gives your shot mood, it gives your subject scale, and it gives the viewer some way to feel the environment a bit more. And if you look at this photo, you'll see that none of it follows the rule of thirds. I could have moved it around to fit the rule of thirds, but it wouldn't be as good in my opinion. I think the negative space just sells this photograph. So don't be afraid to let almost the whole frame be environment. Now let's talk about movement inside the frame, because this is where a lot of drone shots go from looking standard to really standing out. Most people as beginners keep the subject locked in one area of the frame the whole time, and that's fine for some shots, but if every shot does that, the footage starts to feel very predictable. What you want instead is controlled movement through the frame. I call this the energy or kinetic pivot. And the idea is pretty simple. Let the subject travel through multiple parts of the frame during the shot. A really good example is what I call an orbit inertia shot. Instead of just orbiting perfectly around a subject and keeping it pinned in the same spot in the middle the whole time, you let the subject drift a little bit. Maybe it starts in the lower left, moves towards the center, then ends in the upper right. Like in this old shipwreck that I filmed a few years ago, now it looks more alive rather than being a standard orbit. And to make this work, your controls need to be smooth, because as I was doing this orbit manually, I was also flying closer slowly. And this style of framing falls apart if the drone movement becomes jerky. And while we're here, let me give you one of the easiest upgrades you can make. It's called dirtying the frame. And a lot of the times when you first start flying the drone, you think a clean frame is always better, but it isn't. A perfect clean frame can sometimes be boring. But if you fly past a little bit of foliage or under a bridge to reveal the subject from behind it, suddenly that shot will have depth. Now it feels like the camera is moving through the space, not just hovering out in the open. And that kind of foreground element beats a super clean, perfectly level rule of thirds horizon line again and again because it adds layers. You get foreground, middle, and background. Take a look at this shot of people on a beach that I filmed in Kilcunda in Victoria. It's a nice enough shot. There's people on the beach and the colors are really good. But what if you started further back and there was a bridge there? This is the first half of that same shot. Or this shot here where the drone starts in amongst the foliage and flies out through to reveal a vast area behind it. That shot is much more interesting than just a shot of a brown lake. So let's bring this together in a real world example. So imagine you're filming at a dam like I am here, and the old way with the rule of thirds would be to put the horizon on a third. The point where the wall changes direction would also be on an intersecting point in the rule of thirds as well. Everything is balanced and tidy. And look, that shot is, of course, still fine. But what if we did every shot of this area intentionally not using the rule of thirds, but instead using diagonal lines and leading lines motion to push through the environment? Like here, flying along the wall as it spans off to the right, or using the wall as a diagonal leaning line, or using the wall as a diagonal leading line in this shot. or the use of negative space on the left in this top-down shot to reveal what's on the right side of the wall when we move in that direction. Or using the wall like we did with the pier earlier as we fly out over the water. Or instead of doing a standard orbit like this, we did one where we fly in closer at the same time. Now it feels much more cinematic. And I think much more interesting. This is what it looks like when you stitch them all together.
I don't see things like you do. Been pounding the pavement, trying to change this.
Now, very quickly, let's talk about grading. If you're using more off-center compositions, your grade should help support the new focal point. And a common mistake is grading the whole image evenly and accidentally making the eye drift to the wrong part of the frame. So when you edit, look at where you actually want attention to go, and you can do that with brightness or contrast. You can use color separation techniques, and you can use vignettes used very lightly. If you actually have a vignette around the frame, it'll draw your eye to the middle. You're not trying to make it look fake, you're just trying to help the viewer's eye land where you want it. Because once you stop using traditional balanced framing like the rule of thirds, your editor has to support that new choice. The framing makes it interesting and the grade just helps it along a little bit. So here's what I want you to do. The next time you're out flying, use one full battery and turn the grid overlay off. And just fly around and try these 4 things. Number 1, push the subject closer to the edge of the frame. Number 2, frame for direction, not balance. Number 3, use the ground like a canvas. And number 4, let the subject move through the frame. And at first it'll probably feel weird, which is good. That usually means you're breaking an old habit. And that's exactly the point, because the rule of thirds isn't evil. It's still useful and you should still use it. But it's not the best answer for every single shot. If you've been watching this video and you've been wondering, this is all very well and good, Brett, but what settings should I use when I'm out flying? Well, I do have these drone cheat sheet cards that cover 16 different flying scenarios. You can print them out and take them with you, as they are the exact same size of a card from a deck of cards. The subject is on one side of the card and the settings or the tips are on the other side. I'll put a link in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. But if you're still hungry for more drone camera moves, you should check this video out here. 5 shots that make drone video look like a movie, even on a budget, because it's packed full of easy to follow information, and I think you'll enjoy it. Thanks for watching.